Let me start that one here. Like how Martin Luther King would have started. My dream, my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream. Tell you my dream is to live my dream. Really most I
Andrew Michael Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. I thank you so much for talking to me, sir. I gather this is your first major interview with the local media since being sworn into office in early March.
Yes, it is my first major interview, and it is a signal of your own journey as a journalist to have had that interview.
Well, I thank you so much for the kind words. I begin here. I recall a few years ago being one of the circuit reporters covering the political happenings. The talk was, if you listen to the pundits, that Andrew Holness is a man under pressure, issues concerning your leadership, and folks questioning whether you have what they termed the winnability factor. Yeah, it would have been said then that perhaps unlikely that you would have
Well, all of
returned.
that is now a moot point, isn't it?
Indeed. Perhaps it would have been said unlikely that Andrew Holness would return to what I call the political promised land of Jamaica House. You are here 7 weeks into the job. How has it been, sir?
Well, as expected, it's a lot of work, but we're up to the task. I think the general public would agree that we have managed a seamless transition. We have quickly installed a government. I think most persons have hailed the cabinet as one that was well thought out. I think that we have also managed to establish the government. It's clearly that we are the government. We have put in place the boards, and we have started to infuse our policies. But we have also shown ourselves to be equal to managing the challenges and crises that present themselves in government. For example, when we started, immediately we had to deal with the crisis in the sugarcane industry. And I think the way in which we have responded, we have done so very responsibly, preserve jobs, preserve the industry, but still maintain our commitment to divesting ourselves of sugarcane assets. We've had to deal with the high tolls on the new road, the north-south link. However, negotiations on that are still continuing, but we have managed that process well in engaging the public, in giving the public an opportunity to express their views, and in negotiating with the other stakeholder involved so that we could get a better deal for the public. Generally, we have demonstrated ourselves to be responsive and responsible as an administration. And I think all the ministers have owned the problems, and they have not tried to engage in a blame game, in a distribution of blame, but rather to work towards a solution. And we have still maintained the posture of partnership.
You mentioned infusing the policies and initiatives. Many around the country are speaking about this plan to remove the income tax from folks who earn 1.5 million or less. Many Jamaicans, quite apart from folks who are being splenetic or partisan, are wondering that clerical worker, for example, in Spurtree Hill, when will this income tax relief come? What can you say to me on that? Will it be implemented, and when?
The political dynamic is that we are in a competitive democratic culture. Unfortunately, there are persons who would use that to create confusion, especially where there is an information gap, where the government can't speak about the budget until it has tabled the budget, so people have taken advantage of that. But nowhere has it been said by any of our ministers that we are not going to implement our program. We made a commitment, not a promise, not a political campaign gimmick. We made a commitment to fundamental tax reform. And when I presented it to the nation, it was presented in that light. We presented 10 things that we plan to do to change the way in which the Jamaican economy works. One of them was our tax system. I believe the reasonable person understands that the commitment is to fundamental reform of the tax system, to make it simpler and to make it more equitable and to make it easier for the government to collect the taxes. So generally, the government has taken an approach to be responsible and maintain our commitment. So people want to see the fundamental transformation in the tax system, but they don't want to see chaos They don't want to see disruption. And we're taking all those things into consideration. So when we do come with the plan, which will be more details of the plan will be given within the budget that is already tabled when the Minister of Finance speaks and when I speak later next month, you will hear how the plan will work and when it will take effect.
Let me start that one here. Like how Martin Luther King would have started. My dream,